I'm Rachel Erickson of Citrus and Mint Designs, and welcome to Quilt Market, and welcome to St. Augustine, Florida. This is my town where I live, and behind me, or to the side of me and behind me, is the Castillo de San Marcos, and it is actually the inspiration behind my latest collection, which is called Hoist the Sails. It is pirate themed collection. So we got pirates galore for all your pirate gals and guys. And so St. Augustine is the oldest, sorry, I have to get this right. They call it the oldest city in America, but you have to put qualifiers on it. It's the oldest continually occupied city that was settled by Europeans in the continental United States. And it was interesting to me because I'm a history major and I had actually never heard of it, which is kind of sad until I moved here to Florida and I found out that this city was actually established in 1565. And if you remember your U.S. history, Plymouth Rock, they didn't land there until 1620. So they were actually here much earlier. But of course it was the Spanish, not the British. So I guess the textbooks don't really talk about that very often. So this was a Spanish settlement. And they were attacked twice by pirates, first by Sir Francis Drake, and then 100 years later by the pirate Robert Searles. And both of them came through, they burned the whole city to the ground. And for that, and also to protect themselves from the French and the British, the Spanish decided to build a fort like this to protect themselves from pirates and from foreign invaders and from hurricanes, because we do get hurricanes here in Florida. And so the fort is pretty cool because it's made out of coquina shells. So I'll take some videos up close a little later. It's actually made of tiny little shells, and they were good for fort building because if cannons hit it, it actually could absorb the shock instead of just splintering out, because it's made up of all these teeny tiny little shells that they got actually on the island out there. So I love history. I was a history major. And I love everything about the ocean, if you know, from Riptide. And so I wanted to do some research and some history, and I found out a lot of facts about pirates. I went to the St. Augustine Pirate Museum, which is pretty cool, with my kids, and we found out all this information. And I included a lot of that in this pirate collection. So there are historically accurate flags of nations that were controlling the Caribbean at that time. And then you had the map, although the map didn't of course look like it back then. They hadn't explored all of it, but I made it more of a modern day one, which is fun. So this is the quilt that I made with the collection, and it features a panel. So I had a panel. My favorite part of the whole collection is this map that's in the center. It is, I believe, 18 by 24 in size. So you can cut it out and just sew the edges and make it into a wall hanging, or you can use it in the center of your quilt like I did here. And it just makes me happy. And then also the panel has these 8 by 8 blocks that I lined on the outside of the whole quilt that make it easy to just add some space to your quilt. I sewed this so quickly, like in 2 days. It was amazing. So here in St. Augustine, we actually have one of the original Jolly Roger flags, which, if you don't know, is the skull and crossbones flag that some pirates flew. Each pirate ship and captain would have their own flag that they would design, and it's pretty cool. You can see the original one, and it's cool to think of all these sailors sitting there, and they knew how to sew because they had to fix the sails, and then they had to mend clothes and things like that while they were at sea. So I made my own Jolly Roger flag using patches from the collection and just ironed on. I made the mistake of sewing the ties on the wrong side of the flag, so I can't actually tie it to make it look like a flag is flying. But hey, pirates were rebels. Maybe they wanted to fly their flags the other direction. So the fabric collection is called Hoist the Sails. And so this is one of the main prints here. It was actually really difficult to draw ships because they have so many ropes and so many parts that knowing what to cut out, that when you cut it out it still looked like a ship, was kind of a hard decision to make, but it was fun to draw them. So you have some ships like fighting at sea, you have the Kraken coming and eating a ship, you have some other sea monsters here. Then this right here, of course, is our Castillo de San Marco right here, and then you have like a colonial town that could have been St. Augustine before this fort was built and they were protected. It comes in lots of different nautical colorways. So you have the blue here and the pirates. The pirates are really fun print. I actually did a lot of research and they were famous female pirates. So you have Anne Bonny here. There's Anne Reed. We're just gonna say that's Anne Reed right there. And then right here was Shen Chao, who was actually a famous Chinese pirate who had hundreds of ships in her fleet and 50,000 men. So you think of pirates in the Caribbean, but they're actually really small compared to the pirates and even this female pirate in the China seas. So lots of pirates, and then you also have soldiers, because of course they were always at war with different governments. Some governments would hire the pirates to attack other nations so that they could just harm the other nation. And then you also have your skeleton pirate. This is like under the sea treasures. It was interesting to see what they thought was treasure, and it wasn't always gold and silver and rubies. It could be like statues or lots of dishes, or whatever was on the ship was considered pirate booty to them. This one right here is the constellation print. I will show you a photo on my Instagram of my son's wall in his room. A long time ago, I had this idea that I wanted to do a star constellation on his room, and I actually cut out and made a stamp, and then I actually drew the lines and created this whole constellation wall. And so I took that wall and I made it into a print right here. Stripe. This octopus is my favorite animal. They're so intelligent, and I think they're cute. Some people think they're freaky, but I think they're really cute. And actually right behind me here in St. Augustine, right behind us, not behind me, sorry, behind you, is the ocean and the bay. And at low tide, there's some sandbars that come up. And one day we were there with our friends, and I actually found an octopus, like seriously, right over that way. And it was a cute little teeny red octopus. I'll put that video also on my Instagram. I'd never seen an octopus, and we actually were able to pick it up and save it because it was on the sandbar, and the birds were definitely going to come by and find it and eat it. And then here you have all the flags of the different countries and nations that ruled the pirates, and during that time that the pirates were active. Then you have this fun colorway. I like all of them, but this one's my favorite with the mint. And then, of course, I love orange, so lots of orange, and you need a pirate orangish, red-orange stripe. Then, if I can open it, here's the panel that I tried to show you that I cut up and made into a quilt. So you have the map in the middle, and then you have all these along the edges that you can do with how you want. Oh yeah, here's bigger pictures of the pirates. So you have soldiers, you have pirates. Sometimes, like Sir Francis Drake, you had soldiers that turned into pirates because it became lucrative, or they were hired by countries to do it, or kings or queens. And then you have like just the crew, and then this one was Anne Bonny, one of the famous female pirates, who was actually married to Calco Jack, who roamed around this area as well. Then here's a quilt pattern. I believe this is going to be a free pattern available on Riley Blake. And then there's this cute one here by Amy Smart called Summer Bunting, which would look really cute in all these prints. I hope you're as excited as I am. I hope your little pirates are going to be excited to help sew with you, or have a pirate themed room, or come and visit me here in St. Augustine and go to the Pirate Museum and learn, and of course the Castillo, the fort, and learn all about this amazing history and visit our beautiful coast.